Ooh, what's going on, people? It's your man, the YB, back once again. So, we got some more informative news right now regarding David. Can't punch for toffee. Benavidez, hands of pillow. Yeah, I think they call them feather down. If you get expensive, the new age pillows are full of plastic, but old age pillows are feather down. Yeah, that's what David Benavidez has in his paws. Feather down hands. Can't punch for toffee. Fact. Anyway, a few weeks ago, Benavidez was saying, "Oh, I'm not holding my career up for Carrot Top. We know Canelo, Carrot Top Alvarez, he ducking. So I'm looking for the fade at 175." And this is sometimes what happens when people go up in weight. They think, oh, the narrative is, I'm putting 7 pounds on, so I'm gonna have more power, more speed, more endurance. Oops. And often it is the case. Look at Crawford. Crawford used to turn me off at 135. He didn't have the bap, just slapping away. Since Crawford's moved up in weight, he's knocked everyone out, right? So for some people it works. For others though, Benavidez, unfortunately, he is just a weight bully. Yeah, he can't. It showed. Vosdik is washed and finished. Beterbiev had the best of Vosdik, right? 4 years ago. Vosdik, his shots look like sparring. Kind of imagine, let's assume Vosdik was in there, yeah, with some YouTuber in a sparring session. Let's say Fake Paul hired Vosdik for some sparring. Those are the kind of shots you'd expect to see, or they're kind of just touching. It's like a touch session. It was like Conor McGregor 2016 with Ido Portal, touch but in the park. Do you understand me? Just beep, beep. So anyway, people, all due respect, yeah, Vosdik has good solid skills, but he can't punch. Well, he certainly can't punch now, right? There was not one spiteful shot did I see Vosdik throw, and still Benavidez had all he could handle. Any more than that, yeah, if Vosdik was putting any kind of whip on his shots instead of just touching the whole night, he might have won the fight. Yeah? Bottom line. So he can't punch at 175. He couldn't punch, I was telling you at the time, at 168. Even at 168, he couldn't punch like that. I said that. He can't punch like that. Plant was begging to go, right? If Benavidez had any power, Plant would have been smoked. Plant was clinging on. Plant was broken down and worn out and begging to go. But Benavidez, he just couldn't muster. He couldn't muster the pop in his arm. And his shots look good, to be fair. It's not like a technical thing. Some people like Tyson Fury, yeah. Technically, Tyson Fury slaps away. He can't dig. He can't bang his elbow in to an opponent. Tyson Fury and Wilder, but Tyson Fury particularly, he hits people with his palm of his hand. When he throws a hook like this. He's like slapping away. You know, even his two sometimes he comes in with his palm. So there's no whip on that. Yeah, Benavidez, technically speaking, his shots should have power. He does dig. He doesn't. Sometimes he slaps. If Benavidez throws like 5 punches, 6 punches at once, they become slappy flurries. But when he's digging 1 or 2, it's pretty tight. But he was doing 1 or 2s all night, 1, 2s and 3s with Vosdik all night, and didn't do nothing. Yeah, didn't do nothing. And if anything, Benavidez was gassed after about 8 rounds, right? So he now has come to the conclusion that he's finished at 175. Realistically, Bivol would box his head off. Bivol would properly box Benavidez' head off, because Benavidez would have nothing to keep him off. Then again, it could just be a technical fight, but he'd get tired. Benavidez would get tired, and Bivol would be strong in the back half. So, I mean, it's interesting, but the problem is, people, the problem is not Benavidez versus Bivol. The problem is, after Beterbiev smoked Bivol, what's Benavidez going to do? Nothing. Benavidez don't even punch as hard as Yard. In recent times, Yard is the only one to half get Beterbiev's respect. Even then it was in vain. It meant nothing, right? Yard won the middle rounds of the fight, and then it meant nothing. He still got popped. So, Benavidez don't punch like Yard does, right? He don't. He got the volume, but the volume don't do nothing. He was hitting Vosdik with clean shots. It did nothing, right? So you ain't going to ever do nothing with Beterbiev, ever. Not in a month of Sundays will Benavidez do something with Beterbiev. So, and it's not a big money fight. Yes, the Saudis are putting Beterbiev on right now, but that's not. Canelo's what he wants, and I think I've been saying it for months, years. I don't understand why Carrot Top is ducking Benavidez. That should be proof. Yeah, Benavidez at his best weight, 175, and he still can't punch. Carrot Top should have been. I see Benavidez, yeah, as a more aggressive kind of Caleb Plant. The worst outcome for Canelo is that he loses on points to Benavidez, and he's not going to do that because you have to beat Canelo. You have to win 8 rounds minimum, bare minimum. You have to win 8 rounds. Benavidez, he can't win 8 rounds against Canelo. He just can't. Yeah, he just can't win that many rounds because he'll be getting tired as well. Vosdick wasn't even pressing Benavidez, and he was getting tired. Caleb Plant wasn't even pressing Benavidez, and he was getting tired. And yes, Canelo gets tired too, but still, when Canelo hits you, you feel it. I think Benavidez is tougher. Benavidez, he's not the Bivol tough. He's not the Beterbiev tough. But he's equally... We just don't know how tough Benavidez is, to be fair. We've never seen him hit yet. We haven't seen him hit by a pound-for-pound puncher. Fact. Canelo would be the first pound-for-pound puncher he's hit by. Then again, look at Munguia. Munguia, he came and put it on Canelo. And was, in my opinion, he won the first 3 rounds. All over him like a rash. And then obviously, he got caught slipping. And Carrot Top spun his block up. But that fight wasn't... After watching Carrot Top versus Munguia, I wasn't too convinced. I thought it was a lot closer. I thought Carrot Top won by probably 2 rounds, maybe 3 rounds. Which in itself gives Benavidez a look in. Either way, people, that fight is 60-40 Canelo. Meaning that, let's see it, right? That's the fight to make. Beterbiev versus Benavidez. It's watchable, obviously, but it's not got the same... For me, fights that are intriguing are fights that are close. For Beterbiev wouldn't be close, because them shots, yeah, that Benavidez throws out would just bounce off, and it just come cut through him like a hot knife through butter. And there's a chance that Beterbiev cuts through Bivol. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's the truth. Because we've seen Bivol, he was mixing it with that Libyan cat the weekend or a few weeks ago. And the Libyan cat was half in the mix. Fact, right? Bivol was winning the rounds, but Bivol was actually exchanging with dude. People, that Libyan cat. Yeah? Gaddafi looking ass. Gaddafi looking ass versus Beterbiev. There'd be no mixing. Yeah? If that Libyan cat went in there with Beterbiev, he'd be out of there. He'd be in and he'd be out. It'd be one of them for him, for sure. Beterbiev would make it one of them for that Libyan Gaddafi-looking ass cat. Do you understand? It wouldn't be an exchange for 7 rounds. Bivol was exchanging with dude for 7 rounds. That would never happen. You come to exchange with Beterbiev, you go out spark on your back. And all due respect, Mr. Gaddafi, yeah? Gaddafi was leaky as well, right? Gaddafi was like, hands, low lead hand, his backhand was back here, it was on his chest. People, he was jumping in. Beterbiev would have knocked him 100%. Knocked him all the way back to the promised land. Yeah? Anyway, I've digressed to some extent, but it's all good context for you, man. The point is, Benavidez has rightfully chosen now because he was given a choice. He was told by the governing bodies, or certainly the WBC, you can become mandatory challenger for 175 or 168. You can't do both. Which I'm going to be honest, I think is whack. Why not? Really? Yes, that Vosdick... Well, Vosdick isn't a bum, though. That Vosdick performance wasn't really... Was it a kind of 175 mandatory challenger defining fight? Not really, but who else is there at 175? Yards lost his head. You got Buatsi. Benavidez versus Buatsi. It's not a headline fight. Has Benavidez done more in the sport that he doesn't need to fight a Buatsi? Possibly. So really, the WBC should have said, listen man, there's nothing else going on, so why not have Benavidez at 168 or 175? Nonetheless, they insisted, pick one weight, and Benavidez has now chosen 168. And that is the right decision. Commercially, you're going to get knocked out by Beterbiev. Yeah, we know Benavidez's chops. It's not the best chops. He's been down. Yeah, his infrastructure is not the best. He may be not a direct... he's not a direct lineage of John Fury, but there's certainly some kind of distant ancestry there. Yeah, they might share like a second auntie, because that chin is John Fury-esque. Yeah, he was fighting some dude, popped him in his mouth and he on the floor. So Beterbiev hit you with a jab, he'd be on the floor most likely, is my base case for Benavidez versus Beterbiev. So he don't want that. He don't want that at all. And he knows that now. He's thinking, damn, I'm in there going, all due respect, yeah, Benavidez was all in. Pedal to the metal with Vosdick. And he was really, Benavidez was all in. He couldn't have done Benavidez. What could Benavidez have done any better? That's the best he could do. And he was gassed, and he was going essentially life and death. There was no other gears, people. Benavidez couldn't have gone through the gears if he tried. He wasn't holding back. He wasn't having a look. He was giving it all. Now I respect that, but the fact is, you can't punch. That's the fact. You couldn't make a dent in Gvozdyk. Gvozdyk wasn't even hitting you hard, etc., etc. You can't fight. You either need supreme IQ, someone like Bivol. Even that for me is a bit questionable. We'll find out in the Beterbiev fight. But you haven't. Does Benavidez have the supreme IQ? I don't see that. If he was that supreme, he would have got hit a lot less. In fact, his face looked worse than Gvozdyk's after the fight. He was getting hit by Gvozdyk. Gvozdyk, who was throwing slow touches, slow poorer jabs. Beterbiev would have stepped right through you. Bop. Yeah? Short left hook. It's all short as well. It's all like sawn off. Beterbiev has sawn off shots. Sawn off leverage shots. If that makes sense. They're not like snappy arm punches. They're like whip, whip. He's digging. He's digging with them sawn off. So Benavidez he'd be toast. He don't want that. Carrot top. No, I don't really want that either. I don't want that for Benavidez. Yeah? There's enough ills going on in the world. I don't need to see Benavidez get that Beterbiev. He don't want that one. That would be a humanitarian disaster, people. The things Beterbiev would do to this guy. People, do you know how many humanitarian crises we have right now? We don't need another one. Yeah, we don't need Russia versus Mexico. That's what we don't need. Because genuinely, I feel that's the kind of narrative that will be spread. Yeah? Yeah, it will be genocidic. Beterbiev will give Benavidez the genocidic beating, the beats. The genocidic beats, people. No doubt. Yeah, the way the Mexican cats will look at Beterbiev after he finished with Benavidez's ass, they'll think there's some agenda against him, man. Oh, they don't like that. It'd be a persecution. Do you understand? You couldn't, after watching Beterbiev versus Benavidez, you couldn't just take from it, oh, it's a boxing fight. You'd think there was genuine persecution and hatred for them, man. He'd do him wrong. Wrong for sure. Yeah, Benavidez will be in there. Because Benavidez, he makes all the noise, but there's no pop. I kept hearing the noise and thinking, oh, he must be digging. And then 11 rounds later, Gvozdyk's still doing the same thing he was doing. Yeah? It's all bark, no bite. Anyway, I'm glad. I don't want to see that anyway. I want to see Carrot Top though. Yeah? And unfortunately, people, I bring to you today, Carrot Top is ducking Benavidez officially now. Yeah? And arguably, he's ducking Crawford as well. I'm going to get to that news piece in a minute, but essentially, I mentioned in one of my videos on this topic a while ago that Canelo was ordered by the IBF, I think, to fight a dude called William Schull. Yeah, the guy is the definition of a bum. Oh, IB, you don't box. I'm just going to call a spade, people. This is that guy, William Schull. You can't even come up, box rec. This is the guy. Canelo has been ordered to fight. Scully. Yeah. This some top boy wannabe. Look at this cat here, people. He don't even look the part. Do you understand? I can't even get half convinced. Like, for example, when you see Daniel Dubois, even though you know Daniel Dubois, he possibly got a bit of quit in him, yeah, and AJ's a bit soft, at least when you look at them, man, you think, oh, they might be serious. This cat, though, come on. Yeah, he need to be on Comedy Central. That's the vibe I get from him. Look at his power, 40%. He can't punch. He a Comedy Central looking ass. He'd be great in comedy skits. He's got that kind of look to him, right? Call me like. Would or would not this cat do well on Comedy Central in some skits? He got that skit face. He ain't serious, and his power ain't serious. His resume ain't serious, people. Look at this guy. 1 star, unanimous decision. No stars, unanimous decision. No stars, unanimous decision. 2 stars, unanimous decision. This guy the bum slayer. Yeah? He went 6 rounds with Christian Rios, who had lost like 6 of his last 7. Yeah? And this is the guy, William Schull. Just in case you think I'm joking. Let's go on news, it'll come up. William Schull. Here we go, you can see it here. IBF orders purse bid for a Canelo Alvarez-Williams skull fight. And at the time I said, oh, there's no way Canelo's going to take that. That would be a joke. Yeah? Here we go. Canelo Alvarez reached an agreement with Williams Skull, according to Aegon Sports. Unbelievable. This is despicable. Yeah, we all know that Carrot Top's ducking Benavidez, yeah, but to do this, to fight this guy, fight Crawford, set that up. Crawford's fighting in August. Set something up. Give us a little bit of give us some blue balls kind of thing. Like, at least say, well, I'm going to fight this bum William, yeah, but I've got the Benavidez / Crawford fight booked for Q1. You can kind of get behind that, okay. The Munguia fight was a half decent test. Even though the guy's 150 pounds, so they can whatever, alright, whatever. At least give us something on the never never. Canelo, give us something to believe in on the never never. Yeah? He ain't even doing that no more. He just straight out here, hey, I'm fighting this bum. The question is though, why have they sanctioned this bum for? Why? Who is this guy? There was two dudes who was decent at 168. You got the Cuban cat. I forgot his name now. I think it's Cuban 168 boxer. David Morrell, that was it. I'm sure he was IBF. Morrell, BoxRec. You had David Morrell, who was knocking about. They didn't do nothing with him. And then they ordered Skull. It's like, what, the blowout? Oh, he was WBA, sorry. So it wasn't the IBF. But either way, this dude, he WBA. WBA, I haven't mentioned nothing. Canelo has all 4 belts. So you had Benavidez with WBC. Morrell with... Look at Morrell here. Morrell, yeah, he's stopping everyone. Yeah? 10 fights, he's KO'd 9 of them. And yeah, they ain't all that. They're 2 stars, but it's better than no stars. Scully, yeah, your man from Top Boy. Sully, yeah, Sully from Top Boy has got no KOs, people. He don't KO no one. He can't punch for toffee. What is the point in this fight? This fight's worse than Rocky Fielding. That's the truth. That's hard to say. I struggle to say that, but it's true. This is worse than Rocky Fielding. Yeah, this guy going to go in there and Carrot Top's just going to go straight forward. Why? Why would you? And people say, well, the sanctioning body rules are, well, we only sanction people from our belt. But what about the sport? If I was the IBF here, I'd say, listen, man, boom. We've got no contenders, apart from some dude with 40% KO ratio who can't stop unrated people. Do you know how hard it is not to get rated on BoxRec? They rate the top 1,000. So when a cat shows up with no stars, it's like, whoa, these don't even make the top 1,000. That's genuinely how it works, you know. Yeah? BoxRec don't know you so much, they can't even give you a star, because you ain't even on their radar like that. You've been having fights they can't even tell you about. That's why you got no stars. So when a dude who can't even stop dudes with no stars is ordered to fight Canelo, it's like, what's going on with the sport here? What's that about? The IBF could have said, well, they should have some sort of rule that says in extreme situations we can order people we believe to be the best to fight for our belt. Bottom line. And it'll kind of be what they call it when a person is honorary. It's like an honorary champion or an honorary mandatory. We see Benavidez or David Morrell as honorary IBF champions and they're ordered to fight. Obviously, assuming they'll pay us our sanctioning fees kind of thing. So everyone's happy then. The boxing gets the best fights. The IBF still get paid. And it's all sweet. I mean, look at this guy. He's been ordered by the IBF, yeah, and all he's done is fight for an IBF Latino super middle. Like, what the blowout? What is this? Do you know what I'm saying? What is this, people? IBF, it is IBF. So, Canelo's ducking Benavidez. Let's get to the article from Benavidez. David Benavidez fully intends to sign an appeal letter, keeping him positioned as Canelo's WBC mandatory challenger. His father, Jose, told Boxing Scene on Monday. We've already been talked about, we're ready to go, Benavidez said of the letter. Furthermore, a recent medical examination of Benavidez's right arm, which was found to be full of feather down material, and his left hand injuries, concluded that a 2-week period of rest and rehabilitation should clear him to safely resume training activities. If that happens, we will have 8 weeks to train for Carrot Top. We can be ready for September. Benavidez's promoter, Samson Lewkowicz, told Boxing Scene on Monday, in a reference to Alvarez's past interest in fighting on the Saturday night of Mexican Independence Day weekend, which this year would fall on September 14th. Benavidez, blah, blah, blah. It goes on, where is it? Lewkowicz agrees with his fighter's decision to remain Alvarez's mandatory because Beterbiev and Bivol aren't fighting until October 12th, and those fighters could stage a rematch in 2025, further delaying Benavidez' opportunity to win a world title. Lewkowicz said in an appeal letter to WBC, blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to get to the point. There's a point here. Oh, yeah. Here we go. WBC dude, Mauricio, said he is proud to have Alvarez and Benavidez as champions, and honouring that is a matter of figuring out the best way so both can be hailed in the rightful way. Like, what is wrong? People, it's a sport, right? Yeah? We don't need to hail 10 man. Get them 2 dudes in the ring and we'll hail one of them. What is this new age way of thinking? Oh, everyone can be a champion. Let's not. Let's have 20 champions. Let's all stand around a tree and sing Kumbaya. You see that one there? Yeah? He goes on. That's exactly it, Suleiman said. Throughout history, the WBC has been fundamental in helping to build legendary fights. Listen, Suleiman. Ain't no one trying to have this fight build no more. We're here now. Ain't no one trying to see Benavidez fighting dudes at 175 and can't punch for toffee. I want to... What's Canelo doing? It's not like he's doing something extraordinary. If Canelo, was committed to the Crawford fight, I'd say, well, whatever. That's something interesting. He's fighting William Skull. Yeah? He doing nothing. Big fights have to take place at the right time under the correct circumstances. If now isn't the right time, when is then? It was, to be quite frank, it was right a year ago. After Carrot Top beat Plant, the fight's been ripe since then. He took out Andrade, he took out Plant. What else you need to do now to get your shot? If anything, Benavidez is one of the more qualified world title challengers. These days, everyone gets a shot after having done nothing. As the sport's most popular draw, Alvarez still retains so much power. He could choose one of the other mandatories, wait for a showdown that Saudi's Turki Al-Sheikh has mentioned against 2-division undisputed champion Terence Crawford, or select whomever he pleases. Lewkowicz argues that amid the public's clamour for Alvarez-Benavidez, it's time for Alvarez and the WBC to shit or get off the pot. What I don't understand about Benavidez' team, which I've been saying for a while, years, or at least a year, why aren't they suing the WBC? It can be done. You have rules, yeah? This guy, you're paying this sanctioning body, and you're paying them to uphold their rules. You've been mandatory challenger for 2 years. What's your claim to continue this? On what basis? That he's fighting William Skull. Carrot Top is not unifying a belt. Carrot Top is not going up in weight divisions to challenge a champion. There's no reason now. He's fighting a bum. That no one, people, genuinely, there's not, like, of course there'll be Carrot Top fans who want to suck him for anything he does. But there's not one genuine boxing fan. Literally. It's quite, think about it. There's 8 billion people in the world, yeah? For most things in the world, there'll always be a sect of people, right, who back it. I'm telling you now, legitimately. If you ask the opinion of 8 billion people, do you want to see Canelo versus William Skull? There legitimately would not be one. Tell a lie. They've taken out William Skull's family, of course, and his close friends and relatives. Take them out, who are biased. Anyone else, independent, not connected. Because right now, the only 2 people who want to see this fight is Carrot Top, because he likes fighting bums, and William Skull. Outside of their sphere, the other 7.999999 billion don't want to see this. So what is it happening for? Yeah? Start suing now. Done with the talking. Yes, Suleiman are going to keep mugging you man off, Benavidez. What do you think? I think the problem is Benavidez thinks, oh, I want to be friends with WBC still. Oops. Yeah. You'll be waiting another 2 years by the looks of things. For Benavidez to turn down that fight, for Canelo to turn down that fight and take on Skull instead is shocking. Embarrassing. Yeah? You've got to be the low of the low to even consider that. You hate the sport. You couldn't care less about the sport. No one wants to see it. Anyway, Suleiman said once he is informed by the Benavidez camp, we will make our decision. If you try to ruin by popularity, you are ruined, Suleiman said. The most important thing is what is fair and just. What the fuck? You know it's bad when man start talking in riddles. Start trying to sound like the Bible. If you try to ruin by popularity, you are ruined. I don't know what you're getting at here, bro. Yeah? Just order Benavidez versus Canelo. You ain't got to be doing all this pseudo-spiritual shit. That's what you ain't got to be doing. Make the fight that everyone wants to see. No one wants to see Skull. No one wants to see Skull. No one wants to see any other bum fight you got to pick for him. At 168, the only fight I wanted to see was Morel or Benavidez. Morel don't bring the money like that, so it's Benavidez. Everyone's happy. That'll be Canelo. I reckon it'll end up being one of Canelo's biggest pay-per-views ever. Right? I think Benavidez Canelo, given the American market, when Canelo fought GGG, yeah, that was like a moody Russian kind of flex. GGG had big boxing clout, but he wasn't known like that. Benavidez has the whole, like the same similar clout to Canelo. That USA clout, that South America clout. It's a Mexican derby. Massive. I'd argue it's probably going to be bigger than Triple G and Canelo, if I'm honest, because of that fact. So this could arguably be, putting Floyd to one side, this could be Carrot Top's biggest pay-per-view. And yeah, he wants to fight Skull. It's an out-and-out duck, and I think he wins that fight. Genuinely, if the odds are good, I'm putting money on Carrot Top. I just think he's too tight, and Benavidez can't punch. I don't think he's going to be able to do anything. Although, listen, Munguia was half keeping Carrot Top at bay, but oops for him. Anyway, the other bars were, what is popular for the fans of Canelo and Benavidez and the sport are different scenarios. Wait a minute, what is popular for the fans of Canelo and Benavidez and the sport are different scenarios? No, people. The only reason a Carrot Top fan wouldn't want the Benavidez fight is because they don't want their man to lose. Yeah? Any Canelo fan who says, oh, he can fight who he wants, he's proven that. No, he has not. Fighting William Skull over David Benavidez is one of the biggest ducks I've ever seen. He's already been ducking. But that confirms it. You don't want hard fights anymore. You want to fight bums. And the way, I'm not going to lie to you, the way Canelo's going, yeah, he's looking like Tank Davis, but worse. William Skull is worse than Frank Martin. William Skull is worse than Ryan Garcia. William Skull is worse than Rolly Romero. This is bad. Genuinely. This is real bad. And to think Carrot Top said, oh, I'm going to drop the belt. And then he said, oh, no, I'm not actually. Because when he saw who was mandated, he thought, that's not David Morrell. Oh, that's not David Benavidez. Oh, that's a bum. At one point, Canelo was going to drop the belt. Yeah? He then heard, oh, they're going to sanction a bum, and was all, oh yeah, no, I'll keep it now, fuck this bum instead. And the whole narrative for Canelo will be, oh, I've got to fight him, I don't want to, but I've got to fight him because it's mandatory. Bullshit. Yeah? If you went to the IBF and said, hey man, I don't want to fight that bum, I want to fight Benavidez, give me some time, they'd be down with that. Because of the coin it'd make. The IBF will get paid when he fights, in a massive fight, a percentage. Suleiman said, we try to handle the balls we juggle. And we have been through it before many, many times. Listen, Suleiman, you are a corrupt individual who doesn't love boxing. You love sucking dudes off like Carrot Top. Ultimately, if you had any integrity, if the IBF can sanction William Skull, you could have sanctioned Carrot Top in the last 2 years that your man's been mandatory challenger. That said, I don't expect nothing less from Suleiman. He's a fraud. So it's on David Benavidez' team to get that Laukowicz, El Shakel, on the case. You know that man. Come on, people, stop. You know, people who here thinks Lukowicz don't know how to file a law case here. Yeah, he'd be doing that Monday to Friday, all day, 24/7, 365. He'd know how to file a case. Why ain't the case filed? I wonder if he's been paid off. I think Lukowicz might be an inside man working for Team Carrot Top. So I can't understand that. Why? Where's the case at? You should have had a case a year ago on Carrot Top's ass and WBC. And Benavidez is saying he can be ready in September. Why not? Why not? Get it on! Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Smash the like button, subscribe, like off the bell, 100%, no doubt about it. Stop it.